Well, hello there, crafty friends. Today I am going to make 5 cards from the April Spellbinders Card Kit of the month. I'm into card 1, and you can see I'm wrestling with a Nouveau tape runner, which came in one of their kits. Don't normally use tape runners, hence the reason I struggle with it. So for this first card, I've chosen the pretty multicolored birds on a background of blue with the little hello script written over top of the blue background. I am taking a long fishtail banner that reaches almost to the bottom, and then I've made a medallion, ribbon medallion, or rosette I think is the word, and added that onto the front. Now I have used a moonstone die from Hunky Dory, and it makes that lovely big dimensional rosette with lots of details. I've also brought in some Catherine Pooler sequin mixes. I have got one there called Romance, and it's got pretty pastel pinks and aquas and iridescent sequins and beads, as well as another mix called North Pole. I just want to add a little bit more sparkle to the card and take away some of the what I think is a bit of a dead area down in that bottom right hand corner. Now I want to be careful where I'm placing these sequins because I don't want them to cover up those lovely little birds. That glue that I'm using there is also a Hunky Dory glue that I've not used before, and I've had lots of struggles with that glue while I was making these cards. I'm just not used to the formulation, I guess. I probably think I would find that glue better for a different type of crafting. I just had lots of difficulties with the fluidity of it. It was quite runny. Still very good glue and will stick, but I just couldn't get the precise amount that I wanted. Normally we'll use a different glue, I just didn't have it with me. Now the inspiration you can see I got from that little ephemera piece in the kit. For card number 2, I've cut myself a mat out of this pretty pastel green paper with the wreaths of flowers. I'm using the tape runner again and trying to carefully place that on there, because once it's down it's very hard to get off, which you'll soon see me struggle with again. Okay, so this little fishtail banner caused me a little bit of grief. You'll see why in a moment. So I'm sticking it down and whoops, there it is. Oh, this makes my stomach clench, and I hate the sound of that ripping paper and just looking at it again. Oh, I cringe. But I am going to fix that. Now I have one of the large tags out of the ephemera packs and a little bit of bright pink and white twine that I'm going to make myself a little bow. Not a bow expert, but that's not going to stop me from trying. So just fiddling, trying to fluff it up a little bit, and there's a little bit sticking up on the end that I didn't like. Trim that bit off. You can see I've already used foam strips there, and that will raise my tag up and really separate it from the background. Really puts it into the foreground of the card. Now I've got another little ephemera piece there, and I've punched out the little detail holes there so it actually looks like it's a notebook page ripped out of a spiral bound book. I've got my sentiment here on a foam strips again. Place that onto that little notebook page, kind of like a love note, I guess. And I've got my pen there as if I was writing, and I've had a little heart sticker that matched really well with that tiny little blue heart background paper behind the tag. So I thought that just tied in nicely to the printed washi tape piece on the bottom of that pink tag. Now I am going about trying to cover up some of those little oopsies when I was making the card, and I want to try and balance out. That little gold dot there was the part that came out of the circle or the punch hole of the tag. Gluing on my little pen, and then I've got that tear there. Now that actually was how it came out of my ephemera pack, but not to worry, I can cover that up with something pretty and it will all be okay. Last little sequin there, and you'll see right at the end of the video I've tried to put in a shot of all the cards. I've gone back in and just tidied a couple things up and added a few little extra embellishments. Now for card number 2, I have cut with a scallop edge die 5 strips of different papers, and this is a good way to use any little strips of paper that you've got left over. This card is landscape orientation. I've cut out the letters or word thanks. I'm then using the background piece that it came with, that you get left over, to try and make sure I line up my letters nice and neatly on the card. Now I looked at that navy on its own and it just sort of disappeared or got lost on the paper. So then I've cut out a gold thanks as well and glued that over top, leaving a little bit of the navy shadow. Now when I pulled off the tape that was holding that thanks die cut piece, the glue underneath was still damp, so it does take quite a while to dry. So as I pulled it off with that very low tack washi tape, it gave me 2 tears in that top scallop and then a dark navy piece of the cardstock stuck right above the T. So these embellishments here weren't originally planned for the card, but I think it was a happy accident and I really like how it looks in the end. So one of the flowers, the little yellow one, I've glued straight to the back and popped up the other 2 with some foam pads. I then had a look at, well, can I put something else over that little tear there? Decided I didn't like the bird, that I would try some other embellishments instead. So I've got here the North Pole Sequin Mix by Catherine Pooler, and I'm just making a grouping of 3 because 1 on its own didn't look right, 2 on its own didn't look right, so then a grouping of 3 different colours that worked in nicely. And I also then placed 3 more of the same ones down towards the bottom right corner. I just need to trim off my excess paper from where the scallops overlap the front and my card will be done. I will come back later when the glue's dried and wipe off that extra glue that was on front of the mirror card. Card number 4. So I've chosen this pretty bouquet of flowers paper and yep, wrestling with that tape runner again. Really wrestled with it the whole thing. Nothing wrong with the tape runner, just user lack of skill or lack of experience, I guess. It's not what my preferred method of sticking things down. So I'm putting plenty of that glue on, but not thickly coated, onto the back of this pretty pink card that was in the kit. And I've used a Pink and Main daisy stencil, run that through my embossing machine to get a nice embossed pattern that goes nicely with the theme of this kit with the daisies. Here I've got one of the frames and raised that up on foam tape, I've then taken the matching ephemera piece, or fairly matching I think, with the background paper. I've tied a little pink twine bow around the bouquet, and then I'm adding on my sentiment underneath. I didn't raise this one up, I left it sit flush directly underneath the little framed bouquet which says "for you" on that little tag. Card number 5. So I've cut out a frame using stitched rectangles, and I like to cut out the middle. I like to keep that card and use it for other projects. I have then taken another dark navy floral and put the glue on the back. Now what you didn't see was me using my trusty tool, my finger, to spread the glue all across the back evenly in a nice thin layer, because I did not want the glue to ooze out onto that pretty gold mirror cardstock. I've got my little envelope here, another one of those little stickers, but this time in the pink. I'm then going to pull in a little postage stamp, because I figured letter and stamp, the two go nicely together, and the little stamp shaped piece says "sending hugs." Now I've made up a mix of different coloured flowers here on stems, and in their centres I have got a mix of Nuvo drops, liquid pearls, and some actual enamel drops by Wendy Vecchi. One of them, that yellow flower that there's only one of, I put a purple drop in the centre, and I didn't like the way it looked. So then I decided while it was still wet, I would grab some glitter and sprinkle that over top. Now, I'm still not sure that I like the centre of it, but that's okay. I'm going to pop it in towards the back, and you'll see mostly the petals of the flower rather than the centre. I'm building up a nice full bouquet into that envelope, and I'm going to just arrange them in a pleasing way so that they're got some at the back and I've got some at the front. And I just want to split up those two purples that are side by side there, and I'll hold down on that envelope because I squished glue into there, so that would then bind the flowers into the base. Now I felt like it needed just a little bit more, so I'm adding in some flat confetti sequins. So I guess they're not really sequins, they don't have the hole in the middle. Down the bottom right hand corner there is a space which looks fine how it is, but I'm thinking that that might be a nice place to actually add another sentiment down there, maybe a happy birthday or a "for you," and that's my 5 cards made. I hope you've enjoyed watching me make watching me make my 5 cards, and I hope that I see you come back and visit me again for my next video. Thanks again. I'd love you to subscribe. Bye for now.